The resultant effect of looking at this kind of data is that whether you're buying or you're renting, you're going through a financial squeeze right now. Since 2020, we've had a drop in affordability of homes. Household debt levels are rising significantly since the pandemic. The percentage of Canadians who are able to keep up with their household expenses is gradually dropping. Compared to GDP, the deficit in the economy, right, compared to the GDP, outpaced the nominal GDP across the country. The debt levels is about 102% compared to the GDP in Canada. Among the G7 nations, the report also says that Canada is the most vulnerable to any global downturn in the economy. So, if we put all these into perspective, the Canadian household debt outweighs the GDP. High levels of inflation right now in the country, I think, has been dropping significantly in the last couple of weeks. But put this into perspective for us, especially compared with the chart that you had sent me here about home affordability and ownership in Canada. I had relocated to Ontario just a couple of years ago. This is during the pandemic. When I look at the price, it was almost impossible for me to buy a house at that time. There was no way I could pay the prices that were out there at that time. The insane competition that was out there, it's almost like you're throwing away your money to the seller. That was the way I viewed it at that time. And I knew from experience, dealing with stocks and investments generally, I knew it was a matter of time. Whatever goes into the system has to come out. It's like it goes up, it must come down. You were very optimistic about prices going down. And it was uncommon during the peak of this housing crisis that you see any realtor or any business owner that wanted the prices to come down. Why are you optimistic? And why do you take that position of prices need to come down? Does it not affect your income, so to speak?
I miss real estate because the way when I started, I worked with families, and this is what makes me happy. Meeting them there at the house after they move in, or signing the papers, and they're so happy they have their family home. That's what real estate is to me. Real estate is not an investment tool, a commodity that people are trading without emotion. It's not that, but it has become that. And I see that everywhere. And it's honestly, it makes me sick. Real estate agents, most of them are in it to make a living. Well, I would say all of them are in it to make a living. Of course, I am too. I'm at the point where I've been doing it for almost 20 years, actually. Well, I live for the bad times. In real estate, you can't live like for the good times, like 2021, right? My focus has always been on families and end users. They're not usually greedy for the most part. They just need a house to live. They want a home. It's not, not investment. Yes, when you come back to sell it, in 5 years, whenever they decide to sell, of course, they don't want to be losing money. They want to have a nest egg and they want to move on to a bigger house or whatever they need. But by speaking the truth, you actually attract more people or better people.
One of the striking things in the housing industry in Ottawa for me is that it's bombarded by townhomes, not detached homes. You go into these homes, especially the ones built during this period, 2020 up until now, they're absolutely almost useless. You can't even find where to put a sofa or a love seat. I've talked to agents, especially when I was in the market searching. They could care less what you think about it. On one hand, the builders keep building this bunch of garbage at premium prices. On the other hand is that there's a bunch of townhomes, and now that we've talked about the major beneficiary in the industry, which is the government, but now you have builders also who make homeowners stuck with this piece of crap that they build. And when I look at the level of homelessness and look at the level of poor housing going on, so it's like either ways you look at it, people are toast. Like, how does this make sense?
They're not building the homes for you and for me or people like me and you. They're building the homes for... You can show my chart here, and it's publicly available, and this is my actual...
Right, I will show you right here.